YouTube, welcome back. This is another episode, another yap session. I'm here at this park. It's sprinkling just a bit and it's midnight, but we are here to speak again. We are here to speak again about some deep things, deep thoughts, and to get my life, my raw life on film, to not hide nothing, right? To be transparent with y'all so that I could look in the future and look back so that we can look back. W-E. Holidays are coming up. As you can see in the background, people are getting festive. I'm at some random place, so these people seem to like the holidays. But what did I come to speak about? The title of this video, redo that. What did I come to speak about? Well, the title of this video, Mr. Christian, or dear Christian, you know better, right? You know better. So, I'm gonna explain why it's named that or whatever. I'm gonna explain what I mean by that, of course. So, in my last video of speaking, I did mention I was actively living in sin. I'm paranoid, I'm looking all around, but in a nice neighborhood, ain't nothing gonna happen. Knock on some. But last video I said, and let y'all know, I was actively living in sin. Since then, I mean, we all sin, but I'm not in a situation where I've come in agreement with sin anymore, because that's what it was. It was a, let's just say, a lustful relationship. And I'm gonna try to keep things shallow about information shared because things are still fresh. We got to give it time to marinate, me and the other person, but I don't want to spread out information or leave too much information out there when it's supposed to be a thing between us, right? I don't want to put out someone's information because I guarantee they are watching. But all the information I'm gonna share is because I feel it's necessary to get my points across. So my message for this video is you know better. You know better. The reason I say that is because let me take you on a little, well, it's not even a story. A good friend of mine who I didn't even meet too long ago told me that exact phrase. And it's funny because when I had met him, I would say he was not as close to God as he is now, because I've seen God move in his life and him grow closer to God. Frick. Redo. I would say he grew closer to God as long as I've known him, and it's only been a short time as I've known him. But what he told me, because so I was in a relationship. I was in a little relationship right going on, getting to know someone, and what had happened was it didn't end up going well, right? I ended up getting a little hurt, and it didn't end up working out for many reasons. And this relationship did not end up working due to several reasons. But what had happened was I did get hurt, as you know, I did get hurt from this person. And you know, I know I'm not the type to play victim at all. You know, I don't hold no hard feelings towards nobody. I just hold people accountable. I don't have no problems with this person. You know, oh my gosh, are you serious? My freaking car turned off. I had to have my car lights on, okay? Leave it, stay on. There we go. Oh, this individual that I was in a romantic relationship with, right? I did in fact get hurt, and I know I hurt them too. You know, I'm not saying I'm a victim, okay? That's my point. Because I don't go for relationships. I'm not the type to like go out and try to find a girl like, oh, I need a girl. I want a girl so bad. I want a woman in my life. To me, bro, I'm fine. I was fine off that, and this girl just came around naturally. You know, yeah, I didn't force nothing. It kind of felt like it just, you know, when you and someone just get to knowing each other, and of course the intention to get to know them is there, and the attraction is there. But either way, it kind of just happens. Like, you're not out looking for a girl, you're not doing none of that. It kind of just happens. But either way, so when the event occurred, when I did have my little heart shook, right? Man, of course there's a bunch of mixed feelings, and the emotions are high after that, right? You gotta choose where to direct the feelings. But me, I already had a negative mindset towards females in general, this generation, because we already know this, man. This generation is cooked. This generation is so cooked. Girls are not loyal. These men need to do better. You know, I'm not gonna say men are perfect, bro. Man, but like, it's a problem as a whole. The worldly view, my worldly view, what my flesh in fact thinks, is that women are the problem, females are the problem, okay? I have a distinct separation between the two. I separate females / girls with women. When I think of a woman, when I call a girl a woman, that's a woman of God. You earned that title. A woman. You're a real woman. You are obedient. You obey the Lord. You are in your word. You pray. You have feminine attributes. You don't talk back. You ain't out looking for attention. You don't entertain guys that you know are trying to crack. So that title was earned for me. It's very much earned, you know, woman. So I separate the two. A girl, y'all just, oh my gosh, y'all. And there's so many of y'all, bro. Woman is very rare. I'm gonna keep it real, bro. The females in this generation are chopped and cooked. They don't know how to cook. They don't stop talking. They don't stop seeking for validation. They don't stop posting they booty on Instagram. Themselves looking good on Instagram. They married to the gram. They love the gram, right? These girls love the gram. They love them. And, you know, they're going from guy to guy. Got like multiple bodies. But look, all that, right? I believe past does matter for an individual who has not given their life to Christ. I believe bodies do matter when someone has not fully given their life to Christ, because you know they could keep doing it. But when you meet Jesus, you genuinely change. You genuinely have a change of heart. You fully take the conviction from your actions and you understand that your actions nailed Jesus to the cross. When a female gets in contact with the Holy Spirit, that's when you move on to woman. You have now upgraded to woman tier, okay? And it's very rare, but that's what I consider a woman, okay? Yeah, I don't care who gets offended. I don't care. But where was I at? Yeah, this generation's cooked. The title woman is earned. What else? Where was I at, fellas? Help me out here. Okay, let me get back on track. My friend had told me the phrase, I know better. Or he told me, you know better. Because when I did get hurt in this relationship and we was done, it was all done. It was an ugly goodbye, right? It was just you did me wrong, I'm a dip. So, and I truly don't mean to sound like I hold any anger or nothing towards nobody. When I say I love you, I love the person, you know. I might be mad for the time being, but I still care for you, and I'll never hold anything against you to make you feel bad about yourself. But yes, that's where I was at. Okay, I was getting to my point that I already had a bad or negative view on females in general, right? I believe they lie, they cost money, it's like a subscription, and dang near no one is loyal nowadays. Everybody's micro cheating or cheating flat out, okay? But when this girl came around, she genuinely made me feel, okay, this girl's different. You know, this girl's dope. You know, this is a girl I could actually lock in with and feel pretty secure. You know, I could never trust a girl fully, but I give her a little bit of trust, right? And so I was getting to that point. So that's why it felt so relieving, or feel so refreshing. It felt so refreshing. Meet a good girl, right? And she was checking all the boxes, boom, 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 checking all these boxes. And then she proves to me that my views on females still stand correct. These girls lie. These girls play with you. But like I was saying in my last video, I've been a little bit off in my walk, kind of getting numb to just sin, sinful thoughts, sinful talk. And my response to getting hurt was, I knew it. These girls ain't loyal. But my response, and I was telling my homie, I'm like, bro, I'm done. Like, I'm done trying to be a genuine man. You know, every time I give in effort, you know, I always end up, boom, getting done wrong in return, let's say. And I was like, man, it's not even worth, like, is it really worth being a good guy nowadays? Like, is it really worth trying to do it right, the right way? And then, because these girls are just always gonna do you wrong. They always are gonna do you wrong in some way, shape, or form. And I knew that going in. Like, this girl, you know, it's like a story of the Adam and Eve, bro. You could always trust a female to just mess up, like, in some way. And that's not, okay, it's a bad thing, because you could have, and yes, that's a bad thing. Oh my gosh, freaking light. Tap in with me. And yes, that's a bad thing, that a person is going to do you wrong in some way, shape, or form. But I feel the same about how men, I don't think it's just females, I think it's humankind in general. The Bible teaches us that we are all sinful in nature. You know, we're gonna mess up in some way. I think you just got to find someone that you're willing to hurt for, or willing to have pain for, and it depends what exactly they do. Is it a deal breaker? Is it something that you cannot get past? Because someone, I guarantee you, ask anybody that you know who's married, happily married, right, for years, you know, they've been together through thick and thin. It's thick and thin, you know, they go through their problems, they've been close to breaking up and splitting apart several times, and they both probably got valid reasons to leave one another. So that's why I believe, you know, someone who you think is all good is eventually going to do you wrong in some way, shape, or form. But you just got to be ready for that and pay close attention to their actions and see, is this someone I'm willing to hurt for or willing to forgive if they ever did me wrong? Because sometimes the good just has to outweigh the bad, you know? At least that's my mindset on love, right? Love is a choice, okay? Either way, okay, let me freaking get back on track, bro. Lock in. How far are we? We're in 20 minutes? God dang. Okay, so we're deep into this. Okay, so anyways, I'm telling my mans, yo, I'm done with these females, to be honest, bro. I saw some good in someone. I thought they was gonna be different. That is not the case. And I'm like, bro, I'm done. I'm finna just be pimping these girls. I'm finna be pimping these hoes, bro. I'm finna be just having hoes, bro. Like, I'm done trying to be a genuine man. I'm done, you know, going about things the right way. And that sounds terrible, right? Because I'm a Christian influence or whatever, but I'm being transparent with y'all, though. Because at the time, that's genuinely how I was feeling, bro. I'm like, dude, I'm finna just have hoes and not put my feelings into this stuff. And then he hits me with, listen. And it's funny, listen. It's funny because this man was not as close to God as when I met him. I know it. I could genuinely say that. He says, listen, bro. I've learned a lot in these past couple months. He tells me, back in my day, speaking of him, he said, back then, I would do the same thing. I was doing that. That's what I was doing when I was your age. Just getting these females, running through them, right? No feelings attached. And he says, but I didn't know any better. I didn't know no better. I didn't know God like I do now. Me, he says, but you know God. You've been knowing God. You do know better. You know the Bible. You had a family that raised you the right way. And you know that that's not the right way to go about it. I was like, my brother, you're right. You're right. I do know better. I know that's not the way to go about it. But it was the response at the time, right? Because that's genuinely how I was feeling. I'm like, man, what's the point? And I'm not saying I went straight to some girls or doing nothing. I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing, but that's how I was feeling. I had mixed emotions. I knew I wasn't really gonna do it because it's not that it's not in me, but that's kind of just nasty. Like giving yourself away to all these girls is nasty, bro. You easy. I don't like when a man is just easy to get with whoever or whoever could get with them. Because, I mean, bro, it means you got cheap meat, bro. Yeah, you got treat your meat like it's expensive, bro. It's valuable. But listen, okay? Listen, that's how I was feeling at the time. I knew in my mind I was never gonna do that because I do know better. But I was telling him, I was venting to him, and that came out, bro. How like what my flesh wants. I know I was not gonna do it in reality because I think it's very, very important to suffer. I think it's very important to suffer and take the full pain of every situation, face it head on and not try to cover it up with the short-term pleasures and just cover up with other things, you know. That's what you gotta do. You're not supposed to be happy all the time. It's not normal. You're not supposed to be happy all the time. You gotta take the good and take the bad and suffer. That's how you become a better man. That's how you become a better person. Become a stronger warrior for Christ. But like I said, that slipped out as I was venting to my mans, and he corrected me. And he saw, you know, that I was hurting. And he says, I know you got it in you, man. You know, I know you could go about this the right way. Just don't do mistakes that you already know are mistakes. Like, because he said at his time he did that's all he knew. But now he knows better. And currently in the situation I'm in, I do know better. I know that's not the way to go about it. And it's just hard when everybody else around you would say, go ahead, do that, bro. I heard some horrible advice from multiple people. Like, oh, to get over one, you got to get under one. That's so stupid. That's the stupidest advice I've ever heard. Genuinely. That's the stupidest, most dumb, gay, freaking advice I've ever heard, bro. That's just that, like, bro. If your mindset is that, man, if that's your mindset when it comes to a breakup or some type of heartbreak, bro, you was straight. You. That's slimy, bro. That's just nasty. And people really think that way, bro. And often I'm reminded, bro, that God has completely shifted my mindset. If I were to have stayed in the world at a young age and never opened my Bible in COVID year, whatever year that was, 2020, I would have that same cooked mindset too. This generation is straight cooked. Social media programs their mind, and social media also kills love. It does, it plays a factor in it for sure. I would say love has always been the same. I don't think things don't change really, just different times. Modern day technology just emphasized it. It just multiplied the toxicity that's already in our human flesh. But my point was, I do know better, and that's just how I was feeling at the time. I didn't do nothing. I suffered. I'm suffering gracefully. I'm not gonna try to cover nothing up with the short-term pleasures. Now I genuinely have no excuse to fully give my time and efforts towards the Lord Jesus Christ, because having another person in your life that you expect to have around forever takes a lot of energy that could be going towards God. Relationships really become an idol so fast, and so easy to have it become an idol when you're falling in love with someone. You wake up, they're your first thought on your mind. If you're toxic like me, you wake up, you go to their Instagram following and see if they followed anybody. Woo, boy. Yeah. It's just, bro, it takes place of God. I noticed that as I was starting to fall for this individual. You know, I would wake up and my first thoughts weren't pray and read. I'll still get it done, but I would be on my phone first to text them. They'd be my first thought of the day, and that's cute and all, you know what I mean? But in terms of living for Christ, you ain't setting yourself up for success. You gotta truly keep God first. But my point with you know better is, if you are someone who knows Christ, who knows what the Word of God says, who grew up in church, who met Jesus when you were at your all-time low, and He saved you, and He brought you back to, or brought you above what you were at, and really restored your heart, and now it comes to a time where you're faced with the decision to either choose God or choose the world for a season, and you know better, but you choose the world, you are setting yourself up for deep failure, okay? Huge failure, and it doesn't go away easily, bro. It's not a quick fix. We pay the consequences of our actions. Every time. You reap what you sow. You really do reap what you sow. That's what it says in Galatians. If you know better and you choose to not go about it the right way, no matter how much your emotions play a factor, no matter how you felt in the moment, no matter how bad you got done. I don't care, bro. You don't repay evil with evil. You never do. You never do. If you are a child of God, if you know Christ, you don't choose to repay evil with evil. You get hurt, whatever. You get hurt, you back off. The Bible says to turn the other cheek. Keep loving, bro. I tried to keep loving as much as I could in terms of this relationship that I was in. I tried to always keep loving. I don't care how bad I got done. And this world teaches you to not take that type of disrespect. That the world teaches you to respect your last name, right? And I agree. There's a certain point where you gotta cut it off. You gotta respect your last name. I definitely agree. But when you know Christ, you know that you've been forgiven 100 times, 100, right? Millions of times. You've been forgiven millions of times for countless sins. And to judge someone on messing up and hold it against them for good forever, then have you really been forgiven? Because when you're forgiven by God, you feel it. You feel it in your heart. You feel it in your spirit. You feel it in your soul that you are forgiven. All them stuff you did, all that nasty stuff you did, all this hate you had in your heart, all the anger, all the lust, the porn, the women, the men, all this. You truly know when you're forgiven. You can feel it. It's something in your spirit. It's non-physical. You naturally start to forgive others because you know that you've been such a sinner who has been forgiven. Then why can't you give that same grace to another person? And when I say forgive someone, that don't mean, and this is what I mean, respect your last name. I agree, respect your last name. Forgive them, but yeah, cliche, don't forget. You can't forget what they did, because unless they've repented, unless they've come to know Christ and changed their whole life around, and you could see the fruits of Christ working in their lives, then they haven't fully repented, and there's a good chance they do it again, whatever they did to you. So watch closely. If you know the fruits of the Spirit and you can see it in their lives, forgive them and go back. Go back, I guess. You know, I mean, it's up to you. It's really your choice. I'm not going to say what to do. You're taking advice from a 19-year-old right now. But forgive someone. Forgiveness looks like I can look at you without hate in my heart for what you did to me. Even if you got all the reason to just despise that person, hate that person, talk down on their name, or just say, oh, I'll never forgive them for what they did, or always hold it against them as a grudge in your mind, that's not forgiveness, man. You gotta, that forgiving them for what they did and accepting that they're human and they made mistakes, and loving them, even if it's gotta be from a distance, because you sadly can't forget what people do to you. Their actions really speak louder than words. They can say all this stuff, they can say all these kind words, they can say I'm sorry, they can say I should have done better, whatever. Dude, actions truly speak louder than words. And when you know someone knows your intentions with them, you know, they know that you're trying to take them serious, and they do some crap to you, they stab you in the heart, bro, with an action, I would say take it personally, bro. It is personal, because they thought it out, they considered the consequences, they considered your feelings, and they still chose to do whatever they did, whatever it may have been. So I would say take it personal, but also don't in terms of Christ. I'm not fully 100% certain on the topic, you know. I forgive people and I love people. I forgive people for hurting my own family, and I'm sure I gotta forgive people in the future, but I'ma always love purely. I'm gonna keep loving. I don't care. I don't care. I'm gonna keep loving. I know how evil this world is. I signed up to suffer when I gave my life to Christ, because I know people in this generation, they don't fight fair. They don't fight fair in terms of nothing. Romantically, they don't fight fair. Physically, they don't fight fair, bro. You can't have a fight with someone nowadays. You can't throw freaking hands with nobody. They'll pull out a freaking knife, they'll stab you, or they'll pull out a gun and shoot you. People don't fight fair. But you as a Christian, you gotta fight always fair. In all terms, in all aspects of life. And you win at the end of the day, because you know you are doing what's right. If you always do what's right, you can't lose, bro. God is gonna see you. God is gonna see your actions. He's gonna see your heart. He's gonna see every time you suffered for doing the right thing, and he's gonna keep track of it. And it's not to earn God's approval, but in a way, it's a way of worshiping God. It's a way of giving him praise in every circumstance, to do the right thing, even though no matter how hard it is. Of course it is. I mean, that's the right thing. It's following his commandment. That's following his lead, obeying him. And in this world, you're not gonna get benefits for doing the right thing at all times. You're not. But there's gonna be times when God interferes. God comes and he blesses you unfairly because you've been treated unfairly, and he will reciprocate that energy back to you. And I'm not talking all freaking old energies, all that freaking car is not tapped in with me tonight, man. It's okay. But I'm gonna keep like I said, even if you get done dirty, I don't care how bad you got done dirty, bro, keep loving. If you know you love hard, then be careful who you get with. But make sure you keep loving. Don't ever let someone do something to you that takes away that genuine love that you have for people in your heart. And it doesn't have to be a romantic love. It just has to be love. When I see someone walking down the street, because I know Christ, this is because I know Jesus. When I see someone walking down the street, I love them. I don't know them. I don't know who they are, what they've been through, what kind of person they are, but I know my Lord loves them. My Lord created them. My Lord has plans for them. My Lord died for that person. And if he could see the beauty in that person and also the ugly in that person and still love them, then I gotta love them. I love everybody, and not in a romantic way. Not in a romantic way. In a unconditional way. When there's love in your heart, it flows. You know what I mean? You're not someone good sees even holding a grudge or trying to get revenge or payback. You're only hurting your father. If you're a female and you're trying to get back by getting with another dude, shortly after a breakup or shortly after whatever, you ain't hurting that man. You are hurting your father. Your father's last name. You are doing your pops dirty, bruh. No father wants a girl, a daughter that been ran through, a daughter that think she got a roster, bro. But yeah, if you try to get payback or revenge, whatever in your mind, even as a man, bro, yeah, you gain status, you're a player, all that. It's cool. To be honest, it is important as a man to be able to do so, because it's very hard for men to just go get with whatever girl they want, unless you're a high status man. But a woman, they could do that so easily. They literally have dudes lining up for them 24/7, a new dude every second, or not okay every second, but most girls have very, very much options. When a girl could just go with a guy, it's really not that impressive. You're just disrespecting your own father. You're just throwing your body away and being used and thinking it's empowering. And It's sad, bro. People really have this mindset that you gotta get over someone by getting with someone new. Oh, it'll take those feelings away. You'll feel so much better, bro. Frick that, man. There's no escaping your pain. This life is beautifully programmed by God, that there are good days and there are bad days. There's light and there's dark. You cannot appreciate the light in your life if you don't go through the dark. If you don't go through hard times, you'll never appreciate the good times. You won't. So if you're in a season where you got done dirty, if you're in a season where you're hurting, in a season where things are going terrible in your life, and you just feel empty, one, I'd say go straight to the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Turn to Him, because He's gonna solve them problems. It's not gonna be quick. It's not gonna be a quick fix. But there are times where He'll give you nods of approval, and it'll change your circumstances. But the frick? Is there a frog? Bro, I'm about to. Better not be. I'm about to tweak out. Yeah, I say if you're going through a very, very rough time in your life, like a relationship, a breakup, a family member passing, low on money, you're struggling financially, you feel lonely, your friends are doing you wrong, oh, you need to suffer correctly. Especially the men out there, bro. The men, look, I'm a man, I can speak for men. I'm not a female, I can't speak for women, okay? I can't speak for females. I'm not a female. But I am a man. As a man, when you go through troubles and trials and tribulations, you gotta go through it with a stinking smile on your face. You gotta go through it head on. You gotta face it head on. That is the only way you are gonna be ready for even worse things to come. This life is not gonna be easy. This life is not easy. That's what makes it beautiful. Every time you suffer, you gotta know there are better days to come. There are gonna be days where I look back on this time and be grateful that I had suffered, because now I get to appreciate this day. And yeah, so suffer. You're not supposed to be happy all the time. You're not supposed to be happy all the time, bro. Jesus suffered so much while He was on the earth. He knew that His payment was going to be worth it on the cross. He knew every single step He took, every single blood spilt, every single blood drop spilt was going to be worth it. Because He knew what He was doing. He knew it was all going to be worth it sometime. One other point that could go on top of my "you know better" statement from my homie, shout out to him, is if you think you could change a person into the person you want them to be, yo, like you a Christian, you God-fearing person, and you see a lady or you see a man that's attractive, like it starts with physical attraction, and you're like, man, I hope they know God so that we can work out. And then you find out they're kinda in, kinda halfway in, or they're not at all about God. You cannot change them, bro. You cannot change a person or give the Holy Spirit. You cannot draw a person to God fully. You could have your influence on them. You could positively impact their walk, but you will not be the absolute reason. I say the smartest move to do if you're ever in that situation, sit back for a while, take your smooth time. There is no rush for anything. And if you're so scared that, oh, they're gonna find someone else, whatever, cool. If they do, cool, good. You'll know it wasn't for you. But pray for them. Lift them up in prayer. Be genuine with them. Find out if they're the type to give up their body so quick. If they're the type to do so, you gotta run, bro. And it might sound good for you, like, oh, I could tap that, I want to tap that. I could tap it if I want to, but nope, don't do it. You reap what you sow every time. When you're a single Christian man, when you are single in this life, you got to be loyal to God too. You in a relationship, right? We in a relationship with our Creator. Be loyal to God. I felt like when I was in that relationship and I did the things I did, which of course, by the way, guys, yeah, I freaking sinned. That's what I meant. I was living in sin, lust, sexual acts outside of marriage, right? What the frick? Bruh. I knew what I was doing was wrong. I was sowing bad seeds. And when you do stuff like that, that is sacred, outside of a wedlock, bro, you are storing up for you and your partner bad fruits to come. It's probably not gonna work out because of that. Y'all already cooked the relationship. Oh man, so much to say. And I already been speaking for 50 minutes, bro. I'm gonna have to shorten this down and get my main points across, because I know I could ramble a bit and I go off topic. So but yeah, it's still sprinkling and it feels pretty nice, but it's also time to go home. Currently 1:03. But yeah, y'all, so this is the second episode, but update. My agreement with Satan to live in lust and sin has expired. It got ripped to shreds. So I'm no longer in agreement with sin right now. Now I'm back on a fair playing field with God, and it's time for me to truly walk with Him, not have an excuse or be halfway in, halfway out. And if you guys are thinking to go down the dark route and go about a bad situation the way that the world would, or the way that your friends would, or the way that your family would, you got to be set apart and you got to be different. You got to fight it the correct way. You got to fight fair, because God rewards those who genuinely suffer with their chin held high and look to the future for better days to come, because they know they will, because they know they serve a God that loves them and cares for them, has good things planned for them. And I know I do. And He's gonna come through. He always has. And the only times that things have gone wrong in my life is when I turn my back to Him. So I'm gonna continue to learn from every mistake I make and try to minimize the mistakes I make in the future. This life is freaking beautiful, bro. I love the way God designed good and bad, good days, bad days, darkness and light. You gotta enjoy both. You gotta learn to love both, because they're both for growth. And then we're off this earth. Vanity. Vanity, bro. Nothing means anything, really. The only thing that matters is your relationship with God. Does He know you? Do you know Him personally? I thank God every day that He's giving me grace to wake up. And if y'all don't know Him, get to know Him, bro. This world is dying, and you are gonna die with it if you don't separate yourself. It's enough said, man. Time to go home, go sleep. Good night, fellas.